When I think of guys who are underrated in the NFL, there's few guys that really come to mind more than Chandler Jones. I mean, I think a lot of people just don't talk about him largely because he plays in Arizona and they've been rebuilding these past couple of years, so he doesn't get the media attention that some other guys might get, but he's a tremendous player, and legitimately at this point, you can make an argument that he could potentially be Defensive Player of the Year. You could legitimately make that argument. Especially with Myles Garrett done for the year, he's averaging over a sack per game, and it wouldn't be the only time he averaged over a sack per game. In 2017, he had 17 sacks on the year. It is kind of crazy to think that the Patriots just got rid of him basically for nothing. I mean, granted, I remember that it was more about a money thing than it was actually a talent thing, but even so, the fact that they just sort of let him go and he's been debatably one of the best players in the NFL in terms of defensive, players, I definitely think that it's kind of crazy to think about in hindsight. And if it was any other two teams, I feel like it would get talked about as like an all-time dumb move. But since the Patriots have obviously still been the Patriots when he left, it doesn't really get talked about in that way. And it's also just crazy that he's Jon Jones' brother from UFC. I feel like that doesn't get talked about a lot either, but that's just wild that, his brother is arguably the greatest UFC fighter ever, pound for pound, or otherwise. And then you have Chandler Jones, who's, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. And also, they have a brother, Arthur Jones, he played in the NFL. He won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, so that bloodline is definitely very strong, to say the least. And speaking of things that are very strong, let's get back to Chandler Jones. Like, watch this play, for example. He's going up against Tampa Bay's right tackle, DeMar Dotson. And Jones, he's not going to get creative with it here. Watch what he's going to do. He's going to lean over, put his arms right on Dotson's chest, and just push. This is about as simple as it gets. This is just, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to beat you straight up. And that's going to be exactly what he does. He pushes him back, hits Jameis Winston's hand that he's throwing, and it results in a fumble. Winston fumbles a lot, but that one was not his fault. That was just Chandler Jones being Chandler Jones and doing Chandler Jones type things. The fact that he's able to pull something like that off, it's remarkable to say the least. I mean, if you're Dotson, what do you say about that? Like, if you're a coaching staff of Tampa Bay and you're like, okay, we have to prepare for Chandler Jones, and you watch this play and you're just like, okay, I guess double team him, chip him, because this isn't going to work. A one-on-one, we can't make that work. I mean, really, what do you do about that? You basically just have to say, okay, he was better than me. Straight up. That's all there is. Like, this one's another one. This time he's going up against a left tackle for San Francisco, and he's going to do a very similar thing. He kind of tries it out to see if he can go around, but realizes very quickly he won't be able to do that, as you see just how far outside they are when the contact is initiating. But once again, I mean, the hand placement here for 67 there, it's not terrible hand placement whatsoever. I mean, maybe you would like it a little bit further, and one thing about Jones is he does have that just insane reach where he can, push you before you can push him, which definitely helps. But at the same time, this isn't too bad of a situation right now. There really isn't much you could do to put yourself in a better situation if you're an offensive lineman. The problem is that Jones just has that insane reach, and then he's able to have that insane strength to push you back, and then he sort of becomes a backpack on Jimmy Garoppolo's back for a second before bringing him down. That's just also how I know that professional athletes are insane. The fact that Garoppolo was able to stay standing like that for a second, even though he did end up getting brought down, no way if Chandler Jones was on my back am I not getting crushed immediately. And that's Garoppolo, not some, linebacker. That's just a quarterback. So let alone someone like Chandler Jones, for example, and the strength that he has. They're insane. But yeah, Chandler Jones, the way that he's able to just push guys around as though he's an older brother going up against little brothers, it's almost annoying to watch, not even fun to watch. I think we like to talk about technique and guys outsmarting guys, and it's not to say that Jones has poor technique or can't outsmart guys, but the fact that he's able to just bully some guys sometimes, it makes you almost feel a little bad for offensive linemen. What are you supposed to do? You can't do anything. I brought up the Jon Jones thing in the beginning because he kind of approaches, being an edge rusher like he's an MMA fighter. He kind of does, in the sense that he attacks other players, and it works out pretty well. And so what do you do if there's a guy like Chandler Jones that you're going up against? You almost just have to chip him. You have to have some extra protection, because the reality is he is someone that can just destroy you if you leave him on a one-on-one matchup. So that's what the New York Giants are going to do on this play. As you see, they have a tight end in a game. He will be, chipping Jones, which means you block him, but only for a second, and then you run out to run your route. And then the right tackle will also be blocking Jones. So that's the way this play is going to work. The chip's going to work out pretty well. Jones gets pushed back, but I love Mike Remmers here to tackle. Notice how he reacts to this. I feel like he's just like, oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, thank God, you're not bull rushing me here. You're just going right up at me. I thought that was kind of funny. You could tell by his body language a little bit. He looked. I know he was probably just reacting to what's he going to do, but you can tell he was a little bit worried about Jones just doing what he does, pushing him back. But there's a reason why Jones didn't do that. If you notice where Daniel Jones is right here, he's looking to run up. He sees that, hey, I have some room to run right here, so that's where I'm going to go. So for Chandler Jones, after getting pushed back like that, now he's in a situation where there's an offensive lineman on him, but he also looks over and sees Daniel Jones getting ready to run. And so watch how he's then going to lunge out almost like a cat and just pounce on him. Because not only is Chandler Jones just an incredible athlete, one of the best athletes I think I've ever seen in any sport, but he's also a smart guy. And so that those two things together, that's why he is one of the best defensive players in the league. I mean, like, watch, this one's another one where it's going to be a running play for Tampa Bay, and they're going to do a smart thing and have a tight end go up one-on-one against an edge rusher, which, I mean, that itself isn't that bad of an idea, but when the edge rusher is Chandler Jones, it's an awful idea. I mean, as you see right when the ball is snapped, O.J. Howard, at first it's almost like he's faking as though he's running a route. He's going to try to push Chandler Jones a little bit, and all you have to do is make a little bit of contact, and it's going to be okay. And that's honestly why Tampa Bay is doing this. It's going to be a run up the middle. All O.J. Howard essentially has to do is just create some contact, and you'll be all right, but sometimes that's easier said than done against a guy like Chandler Jones. Watch how he just sidesteps Howard, and then once again, pounces and makes that play, and that's one of the best plays you'll ever see. You watch any game that has Chandler Jones in it, and he'll make a couple of those plays where you're just like, how in the world can a human do that? He doesn't look human at times. Maybe I'm being over-exaggeratory. Is that even a word? Whatever, we'll go with it. But, I mean, and that is kind of what I do sometimes. I get very excited when I'm watching good football, but there's no doubt about it. He's an elite talent, and I mean, what else can you say, really? He's leaving me speechless in a sense. He really is. It's kind of almost frustrating watching tape with him, not only because he's so good, but it's like, why doesn't this guy get more attention? I mean, he played for the Patriots. He's now playing for the Cardinals, a lesser-known team, but he legitimately is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2017, and at this point, he's looking like he has a chance to be a first-team All-Pro this year, although also the All-Pros are just weird because they don't do the All-Pros in the sense of, like, outside. They don't separate outside linebackers in 3-4 and 4-3, which I don't know why they don't. So, like, he was an All-Pro as a linebacker instead of as an edge rusher or defensive end. I don't know why they don't just have, edge rusher and then linebackers in a 4-3 or middle linebackers in a 3-4. I don't know why they don't just separate it that way, but that's the way they do it, so whatever. One last play is this one where, once again, Tampa Bay is going to have O.J. Howard block Chandler Jones, and this time it's a passing play, so again, no clue what Tampa Bay is doing here, really paying no attention to Chandler Jones, but regardless, that's what they're going to do, and it's not going to work out terribly. I watched this a few times. I couldn't tell if there was a hold or if Chandler Jones just kind of fell right there. I'm not exactly sure what happened. It was really a weird thing that happened. It looked like a hold. It looked like O.J. Howard's hand was in a position where it looked like it was going to be a hold, but maybe Jones was just trying to sell the play because it didn't actually look like that's what caused him to fall. Maybe Jones tripped on the grass, or maybe he just tripped. Even the best athletes in the world sometimes just slip up. Not exactly sure what happened there, but that was weird, and now Jones is in a rough spot. Also, I think that Tampa Bay screwed something up here. I don't think it was supposed to be O.J. Howard just having a one-on-one matchup. I think at a certain point he was supposed to get out and run a route. This was supposed to be a chip, and they were supposed to have their right tackle block him. However, if you notice right there, their right tackle and guard are double-teaming a Cardinal over there. So clearly they're not on the same page, and it's going to be even worse when Arizona has a linebacker blitzing, meaning that their right tackle, DeMar Dotson, has to run over and block him. So for Jones, this is great news. He can run over and potentially have a straight shot. But of course, the problem is he's currently on a knee right now, which is it's going to be tough for him to get over and make the play. But he is going to wall off balance, run over, and really, as he's falling down, tackle Jameis Winston, and he knocked the ball out and was after he was down, but still unbelievable. I mean, if I'm falling down or off balance, my sole goal at that point is to just make sure I don't hurt myself falling down. Chandler Jones, while falling down off balance, was able to get a sack and nearly a forced fumble out of it, which is just, we're not even the same species at this point. He's an alien. He's unreal. He doesn't get enough credit, but, I mean, he is one of those, you talk about, like, the 15 best football players, regardless of position, In my opinion, he's one of those 15. I'm not sure exactly who the other 14 are or where he would be on that list, but he's one of those guys that's just year in and year out elite.